Hey everyone! Today we're embarking on a journey that will completely change the way you think about money. We all chase money in our lives, trying to earn it, save it, and grow it. But have we ever considered how this money, which is just a piece of paper or a number on a screen, actually influences our thinking, our behavior, and our happiness? Often, we think that financial success is just a game of numbers, formulas, or spreadsheets. But in reality, it's a game of human behavior. It's about how we make decisions with our ego, our fears, and our personal history. So let's dive into this deep psychology of money, where every story will force you to look at your financial journey from a new perspective. Our relationship with money, folks, is very deep and personal. Have you ever seen someone spend money in a way that makes you think, what are they doing? Are they crazy? Or someone who's afraid to invest in the stock market, even if the data is in their favor. We call them crazy or foolish. But in reality, no one is crazy. Every person makes decisions based on their life experiences, their upbringing, and their environment. Imagine, for instance, someone who saw their family struggle with bills during childhood or went through a period of inflation. For them, saving every dollar or prioritizing savings would be a sensible decision. On the other hand, another person who got everything easily since childhood or who always saw the stock market growing might find taking risks or spending money to be commonplace. Both are intelligent, but their experiences are different, so their thinking and behavior will also be different. For example, in America, low-income households spend over $400 a year on lottery tickets, which is 4 times more than the highest income group. From an external view, this seems crazy, but from their perspective, living paycheck to paycheck with no vacations or college savings for their kids, a lottery ticket is a way for them to buy a dream, a hope that maybe life will change. So for them, it's a justified decision. We all make financial decisions based on our unique mental models.
When it comes to financial success, Morgan Housel and his book remind us that just hard work and smarts aren't enough. Luck and risk also play a very important role. We often hear stories of successful people and think they achieved everything solely through hard work. Take Bill Gates as an example. There's no doubt about his brilliance and hard work. However, in the 1960s, Gates attended Lakeside School in Seattle, which was one of the few high schools in the world at the time with computer access. Think about it. Out of 303 million high school-aged students then, only 300 students were in a school like that. This was a 1 in a million opportunity that gave Gates the chance to explore computing at such a young age. Bill Gates himself has admitted that if it weren't for Lakeside, Microsoft might not exist. But there's another side to this story. Kent Evans was Gates' best friend, just as smart and passionate. He also dreamed of becoming one of Microsoft's founders. But before high school graduation, Kent died in a mountaineering accident. The chances of high school students dying in a mountain climbing accident are also 1 in a million. So you see, on one hand, luck gave Bill Gates unparalleled success, while on the other, risk took Kent Evans' life. It's crucial to understand that every success isn't just the result of effort, and every failure isn't just due to laziness. Exceptional results often involve extreme luck or risk. That's why when we make financial decisions, we should also understand the role of luck and risk, rather than ignoring them. The never enough trap. There's another deep aspect in the world of money, the hunger for never enough. We are human beings, and it's our nature to always want more. As soon as we achieve one goal, we set a new one, and this cycle never ends. Take the story of Rajat Gupta, an orphan who through his hard work became the CEO of McKinsey, and by 2008 had a net worth of $100 million. He had everything: wealth, respect, power. But he wanted more. He tried to earn more money by using insider information from Goldman Sachs, and this greed destroyed his reputation and career, landing him in jail. Bernie Madoff is another such example. Already extremely rich, he built a giant pyramid scheme just to make even more money and ultimately spent his life in jail. This never-enough greed often stems from social comparison. We constantly compare ourselves to others. He's earning more. He has a bigger house. He's more successful. This comparison becomes an endless torture that steals our happiness. There will always be someone above you. It's hard to win this race, and the one who plays always loses. Morgan Housel says, there is no reason to risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need. Some things are more valuable than money, such as reputation, freedom, family, friends, and happiness. It's foolish to risk these for any potential gain. True happiness, my friends, lies in the satisfaction of enough, not in constant expectation. The power of compounding. When we talk about building wealth, there's a concept that's often overlooked, but it's the most powerful force in wealth building: compounding. Everyone has heard of Warren Buffett. He's a phenomenal investor, but over 90% of his $84.5 billion fortune was accumulated after he turned 50. In reality, his secret isn't just his investing skill, but his time. He started investing at age 10 and continued to invest in the market for 70 years. If he had started at 30 and retired at 60, perhaps no one would even know his name.
The power of compounding. Compounding works like a snowball. A small snowball, when it rolls down a hill, starts slowly. But as it comes down and gathers more snow, it turns into a huge beast. That's the magic of compounding. The interest you earn on your savings earns interest on itself the next year. And that cycle just keeps going. In the beginning, it seems small, but over time, the growth gets so big, it feels incredible. The problem is we're impatient. We want instant results. We don't let our tree grow, we cut it down before it has a chance to grow. But good investing isn't about chasing huge returns. It's about getting pretty good returns that you can maintain for a long, long time. Charlie Munger famously said, the first rule of compounding is never to interrupt it unnecessarily. Getting rich versus staying rich. Earning money is one thing, but keeping it is a completely different skill. Often, financial gurus talk about how to get rich, but they tend to overlook how to stay rich. Morgan Housel says there's only one way to stay rich, a combination of frugality and paranoia. Frugality means using your resources wisely, and paranoia means having that fear that what you've earned could be taken away. Take Jesse Livermore, a famous stock trader from the 1900s. In the 1929 market crash, when everyone else was losing everything, he made billions by betting against the market. On the other hand, Abraham Germansky, a multimillionaire real estate developer, made a ton of money in the 1920s boom. But in the 1929 crash, he lost everything and tragically committed suicide. Livermore also ended his life 4 years later because he became overconfident and started taking on far too much risk. Getting rich requires taking risks, being optimistic, and really putting yourself out there. But keeping money requires the exact opposite: humility and the fear that it can all be taken away. This is all about having a survival mindset. For this, you need to plan for what to do if things don't go according to plan. Having room for error or a margin of safety is super important. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. When you're doing financial planning, you should always be prepared for those worst-case scenarios. Wealth is what you don't see. We often associate wealth with flashy things like expensive cars, big houses, or designer clothes. But in reality, wealth is what you don't see. Wealth is the income you've saved, not what you've spent. It's optionality, flexibility, and growth. Spending money to show others how much money you have is actually the fastest way to end up with less money. The man in the car paradox explains this perfectly. When you see someone driving an expensive car, you're usually admiring the car itself, not necessarily the person driving it.
You think, man, I wish I had that car, then people would admire me. People aren't really impressed by your possessions. They're impressed by their own desires. True wealth is hidden. It's invisible.
The highest dividend of money is freedom. This ability to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, for as long as you want, is priceless. Morgan Housel himself was an investment banker, where he earned a lot of money. But he realized that he had become a slave to his boss, and those were the most miserable days of his life. Ultimately, he quit that job. Happiness is complex, but its common denominator is the ability to control your own life. Derek Sivers, a successful entrepreneur, said that he actually became rich at the age of 22 when he saved $12,000, quit his job, and became a full-time musician. Because at that moment, he gained control over his time and his life. Money helps you buy time, and that's better than any luxury goods. Nothing is free. Now let's talk about another important lesson. Nothing is free. Everything has a price, but this price isn't always written on labels. When you invest, the cost isn't just money, it's the uncertainty, doubt, and fear that come with market volatility. Morgan Housel calls this the cost of admission, or a fee to pay. If you accept this price and view it as a fee rather than a fine, then you won't be scared and will stay in the market for the long term. Otherwise, you'll choose options like stealing the car, meaning you'll try to earn returns without paying the price, which is often catastrophic. You will change. Everything changes in life, and so do we. You will change. This is a truth we often overlook when making long-term financial plans. In psychology, this is called the end of history illusion. We know how much we've changed in the last 10 years, but we misjudge how much will change in the next 10 years. Therefore, make your financial plans flexible. Don't make extreme financial commitments that you'll regret in the future. Your future self might be completely different from your present self. Take Amazon as an example. Initially, they only sold books online. But Jeff Bezos understood the reality of change and diversified the company so much that it's a global giant today. Therefore, beware of the seduction of pessimism. When you invest, understand that there will be ups and downs, but in the long term, progress is the real trend.
Key takeaways from the psychology of money. So friends, these were some deep and timeless lessons from the psychology of money. Financial success doesn't just depend on how much you know, it depends on how you behave. We need to build a healthy and lasting relationship with our money. Understanding your unique experiences, accepting the role of luck and risk, defining enough, using the power of compounding, and valuing freedom as the greatest wealth, that's the real game. Life is a unique journey, and money is an important part of that journey. Therefore, align your decisions with your values and live the life that gives you peace of mind. Because in the end, you can't take anything with you. No money, no possessions, no achievements. Only the experiences, the relationships, and the peace of mind you've built in your life. Use your money for your own happiness and freedom, not to impress others. Be humble when things go well and forgiving when they don't. And most importantly, be ready to pay the price for success, because nothing comes for free. If you enjoyed this financial journey, please give it a big like and subscribe to the channel so I can keep bringing you content like this. Thanks, and remember, your financial journey is your personal journey. Live it on your own terms.